This is Justin Simpers with another edition of How to Make More Money. Now, really, I always say that, but the bottom line is, yeah, everybody wants to make more money. And if you're in sales, the object of the game is to make more money. How do you do that, right? How do you attain that feat? And the simple answer is cold call, dial, go meet, whatever it is you do, you have to make cold calls. Now, a lot of people have fear of making cold calls, whether you've been doing this 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, whatever. But, like great performers, most of them still get stage fright after doing it for 20 years. It just is what it is. The key for me making cold calls, and one of the things that I find helps me the most, is the mindset that I have before I make the cold calls. Now, assuming that you've done all of the stuff that you need to do before making your cold calls, like you know what you're selling, you're an expert in that field, and you've studied up on it, and you are doing some sort of routine to keep your mindset pure and clean, then you have at least the basis to make cold calls without any fear. Because if you don't do those things, then obviously you have a big roadblock. Well, what have they asked? What are they that you already mind screwing yourself into messing up the cold calls? Now, taking that into consideration, the other big caveat to making cold calls is the elimination of fear. If you can go into making a cold call and you don't have any fear on whether or not they're going to buy from you, or they do or they don't or whatever, the whole object of the game is to make as many of them as you can, but to learn from your mistakes. So really what you're doing is you're tricking your mind into looking for mistakes and looking for problems. And in doing that, you're totally eliminating the fear aspect of making the cold call, and you can just make it and handle your business. I'll give you an example that I had, right? In my field, we do phone cold calls and we do in-person cold calls. And I'm actually a proponent of dropping into the office and just unannounced and making a cold call. That's just what I like to do, right? Obviously, with COVID right now, we can't do that. But anyway, so I went out to go see a broker I could not get a hold of on the phone. Right? I made a cold call. I showed up in her office. She was so pissed off at me when I walked into her office and said who I was. She actually started cussing me out. And I was like, whoa, look, all is good. All is good. I'll come back another time, another day. She said, no, don't you ever, bah, 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 bah. So I turned around, walked out, started to go to my car, and I was like, you know what? Screw that, right? Screw that, right? Turn around, walked right back into her office, and she was like, what the, ba, 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 ba. And she was pissed. She was mad that I was there. And I let her talk. And I said, look, I'm not leaving here unless you can give me a good reason as to why you're not going to do business with me. So anyway, I eliminated the fear that I had when I first walked into that office, walked out to my car, collected myself for a second, walked right back in there, and she's one of my biggest clients that I have today. I still laugh about that story. It's just one of those things. And, she actually brings it up occasionally too, because she's like, I'm glad you were persistent with me. I don't like it when AEs come in and they try and sell me on their bank that I haven't worked with. Right? Well, now I'm one of the only banks that she uses. So, anyway, what did I learn there? Well, I learned a lot of things, but the bottom line is to eliminate the projection of an outcome as well, right? If you can go into it with a positive mindset, and whatever happens is going to be a growth opportunity. You make the sale, great, growth opportunity. You don't make the sale and you get cussed out of the office, great, growth opportunity, right? All of it is a growth opportunity. So in your tool belt, you have learned everything that you can about your company. You have polished up on your sales game and clearing up your mind, right? And now you don't have any fear of making cold calls. Then the business is going to come to you. You're going to be more of a magnet than you are a repellent. And that's really the bottom line. So numbers, yes, but the object of the game of cold calling is converting as many of those cold calls into opportunities for growth. That is how you attain more business. Anyway, thank you so much and have a nice day.